Yo, and welcome back to the Banter Boys podcast. My name is Sanji. With me is Oliver. How you doing, boy?
Yeah, I'm alright, thanks. Thanks for having me on. It's nice to find more people that play fan tracks.
Well, it's even nicer to find a fan tracks manager that supports. Wait, let me not ruin it. Let's do the fan introduction. Tell us your name, your Twitter handle, the club that you're representing tonight, where you're from, and a little bit about what you do.
Oh, so I'm Ollie. My Twitter handle is ActualOllieK. I'm from the We Are Luton Town podcast, and I support Luton Town. Hey.
Absolutely love it. You know how hard it was to find a Luton Town fan, especially one that plays fan tracks? I feel like I've hit gold.
How did you find me? Was it because I tweeted and I hashtagged fan tracks?
Maybe it was that. I've gotten to the point where now trying to find people that meet both criteria, I search the anything to do with the club's hashtag, anything to do with fan tracks, FPL, draft, like literally anything and everything I can think of, and somehow I think I found you. I DM'd you, and I was like, yeah, I have nothing to lose at this point. Let me just give it a shot. And I scored. So
Yeah, well, I'm thinking it might have come out about them because Luton tweeted the FPL price for Thomas Kaminski, and I quote tweeted saying, "There's no point in getting him for regular FPL because regular FPL is garbage, but on fan tracks he'd be a great differential because he's going to be making a lot of saves. He'll concede a lot of goals, but he'll make a ton of saves. Those
Love
precious
that.
points."
Well, you know what? I can't wait to learn more about Luton. So let's welcome the listeners back to another Inside Tracks episode. We've been covering all 20, well, hopefully, in the Premier League 23-24 season. Basically, we're a Fan Tracks podcast, and the way that we've been running these episodes is that we have 3 segments to it. A bit of a general discussion where we talk about impact of new managers / ownership. We talk about clubs' previous season's performance versus new season's expectations, old system versus new system, expected formation and starting 11, the impact of AFCON and Asian Cup, and obviously we're going to jump into the Fan Track side of things. We're going to get Ollie's first pick from Luton, his next 3 picks, and at least one hidden gem. And finally, we'll pick his brain as a Fan Tracks manager on how he handles things like trading, maybe his fab, and just lessons learned over his career. Alright, let's get started. So, I'll be honest, I'm going to come into this like an average football fan. I have never heard of Luton. You know, okay, you guys were in the championship last season. You finished 3rd. I would say you probably had maybe the 2nd or 3rd best defense in the league last season. Not well known for goals, but came up through the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I mean, that's all I'm gonna come in with. I'm gonna let you, do your spiel. Tell us about your manager, your ownership. What can you teach the average Fan Tracks player?
Well, the tagline for Luton is, "It's the greatest story in English football." I'm not embellishing. I'm not blowing smoke up your ass or anything like that. You probably, I don't know if you've watched Luton Town's Premier League story on Sky. You might have no. If you watch it, you'll see I'm on it. Cause,
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because through We Are Luton Town, we were asked to participate in it. So I was talking to Premier League Productions about an hour and a half about the story of Luton Town, and it's a good old story. So I've been following Luton for 25 years. I've seen 6 relegations, 6 promotions. 10 years ago, so we only got promoted from the Conference Premier in 2013-14.
Mm-hmm.
We were in the conference for 5 years before that. For the bulk of the 80s, for the entire 80s, from 82 to 83 season, we were in what was then known as Division 1, which was the top division. We were relegated from the top division in 91-92, which was the season before it became the Premier League. We were one of the founder members, meaning we voted for the Premier League, for the new cash influx, the Sky partnership, and then we never got to play in the Premier League until this season. So Luton fans are absolutely buzzing. Like, buzzing is an understatement. Like, Wembley was absolutely nuts. I was smashed off my face. Like, but all of the Luton fans were smashed off their face. Like, we were partying until, well, the wee hours.
Yeah.
We properly, and it hasn't sunk in. Like, we thought it would sink in when the fixtures were released. No, it hasn't. We thought it would sink in when we started making Premier League signings, but it hasn't sunk in. I guess it will only sink in when we, come out against Brighton.
Yeah.
What story? It's a great story. It's 6 relegations, 6 promotions. Like, you tell me a football fan that, that's seen that.
Yeah.
It's very rare.
That's very true. I mean, I've said it not only on the pod, but to friends alike, is that I feel like growing up, to us, the football clubs that we were exposed to were always the top 6, top 7 clubs, right? Clubs in Europe and stuff like that. We weren't told of, your Burnleys, your Bournemouths, your Lutons, your Sheffields. And it's not until you move here and you see the richness of the culture of these other clubs. It's possibly richer than the top 6, top 7, some of them, right? I would admit, even like as being a Chelsea fan, like I lost a bit of love for the sport when I realized how much of it was just glory hunting at one point. And especially even doing podcasting now. Now I just want to watch good football, right? That's what I care about. And I just love what effect that football has on people as well, right? That's the reason we're podcasting right now. That's the reason we're chatting right now. It brings people together. It's something more powerful than people actually realize. So yeah, I can't wait to dig deeper into everything Luton and learn so much on this pod. So what can you tell us about your current manager and maybe some of the hierarchy, like owners of the club?
Yeah, so our current manager is Rob Edwards, who famously started last season managing Watford, who are our biggest rivals.
Okay.
We hate Watford. They are scum. We hate Watford. They're a joke of a football club who they sack managers, and they hired Rob Edwards, who was an up and coming manager from Forest Green. He played great football at Forest Green. They hire him, then their lunatic of an owner just makes his own signings, gives him no wing backs when it's a wing back heavy system.
Yeah.
And they sack him after 10 games. He'd only lost 2. The only teams he'd beaten Burnley and he'd beaten Sheffield United in those 10 games. They sacked him. He was out of work for about 6 weeks. Then our manager got poached. Nathan Jones got poached by Southampton.
Yeah.
I maintain Nathan Jones would have kept Southampton up if the players had been on side with him. He's a bit of a lunatic, but he's a very good coach. And some of the absurd stuff he came out with in his press conferences, we heard that stuff every week at Luton.
Yeah.
That's just normal. That's just Nathan Jones-isms.
Yeah.
But the players were never behind him. Anyway, so Rob Edwards came in. He gave us a calming influence. We were 10th when he came in. And we only lost 3 games for the rest of the season, which was a very good run. And I would imagine we'll probably play the same pragmatic football. Regarding our owners, we are probably one of the better owned clubs in the Football League. So we're owned by a consortium of fans called 2020. They came in around about the time... They came in, so one part of our roller coaster was we were, in the early 2000s, we ended up in League 2. Then we got back to the Championship, and then we were relegated back to back to back. So we went from Championship, League 1, League 2, and when we're in League 2 in financial troubles, after many bad owners, 2020 came in, they took us out of administration. The problem was they didn't come out of administration the way that the FA wanted, so they were greeted with a unprecedented 30-point deduction. So, you might have heard about that, maybe you haven't. In 2007, 2008, or 2008, 2009, because there's been so much shit, to be honest, like it all merges into one, like I forget the dates. 2008, 2009, I believe, we started the season minus 30, but with new owners and Mick Harford back as our manager, we got relegated before a ball had even been kicked. Like, if we hadn't been deducted those points, we would have been comfortably mid-table. At the beginning of that season, we couldn't even publish in our program a list of players because we hadn't signed any. So when the game came back, there was just an insert in the program that said, oh yeah, these are the players that we're going to be playing today. So these guys came in and they ended up cutting their teeth in the conference because we were relegated. We spent 5 years there. And they've always maintained, because the club has had such perilous finances in the past, they've maintained we will never go into debt. So essentially, by getting promoted, they've promised us a new stadium, which we're breaking ground on.
Yeah.
That stadium is paid for. You probably noticed from the signings we made, we're not doing a Nottingham Forest. We're not splurging 200 mil on new players with the hope of staying up. And Forest did it by the skin of their teeth, to be honest.
Yeah.
We are doing it the same way we've always done it. We're signing. It's like a sort of Moneyball approach, where we're going for players that can make a big difference to us on a very limited budget. We've broken our transfer record 4 times this window already. Our transfer record was 1.3 million, which was last season. Before that, it was 1.3 million again for a Croatian goalkeeper called Simon Sluga in 2019. But before that, our transfer record was 1988, where we spent 850,000 on a Danish international called Lars Elstrup. So you can tell we're not a moneyed club by any means. For us, this is like winning the lottery, being in the Prem.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you guys could be a very dangerous team, having taken in all that information, because you're back where it sounds like you deserve to be after being away for so long, voting for the Prem, all that. You're going to maybe be playing with nothing to lose as well. So, which is a very dangerous combination for any team that might, underestimate what you guys can do, right?
Yeah, I didn't even mention our secret weapon. So our secret weapon is our home form, because I'm sure you've seen our stadium splattered all over the internet.
Yeah.
Kenilworth Road,
Yeah.
What a shithole. Oh, it's going to be the smallest stadium in the league. It's not going to be the smallest stadium because we've had to rebuild one stand.
Yeah.
So Bournemouth are going to be the smallest in the league. But what Kenilworth Road gives us, so we're a great differential for home games. Because if you watch the playoff semi-final against Sunderland, players will come to Kenilworth Road. They just crumble because the fans are right on top of you.
Yeah.
It's the stadium's 115 years old. There was no health and safety back then, so the fans and the stadium's not being changed. There's one stand that's being changed now.
Yeah.
It was last changed in 84, 85 when they put the boxes in.
Yeah.
But even those boxes, like that stand is still right on top of the pitch, pretty much.
Yeah.
And now they put in seats.
Yeah.
Well, they're putting in seats.
Yeah.
So players crumble under the pressure of the Kenny.
Yeah. It's going to be quite a quadrant, man. I'm looking forward to that atmosphere in a few weeks, I want to say. Because you guys aren't playing game week 2, right? If I'm not mistaken.
We're not playing game week 2 because we had to give assurances to the Premier League that we'd actually be ready and up and running for that game. But it was better that we called it off sooner rather than later. But it just means there's going to be a tasty double game week.
Yeah,
coming.
Definitely. And I think your first home game is versus West Ham on September 1st when the window closes. So there's a lot of big milestones on that day. So yeah, looking forward to it. So I mean, given all of this, what would be your next season's expectations then? Obviously, it's to stay in the Prem, but how high do you think you can finish in that table?
I think the highest we can finish is probably 16th.
Okay.
There are a lot of teams in the Premier League that are absolutely shambolic off the pitch.
Yeah.
So you got Everton, who are just in a relegation battle every season, and it doesn't look like they've recruited sensibly. Will Calvert-Lewin actually reach the heights that he did 4 years ago. Who knows? Who knows? He's a walking sick note. And then you've got Wolves, their manager's already looking to leave. You got Forest. Forest has been quite calm. You got Sheffield United, who are just selling all their best players.
Yeah.
And replacing them with nobodies. Like, they got rid of Ilmian and Jai.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Yeah.
They got rid of
Sander Berg, possibly.
Yeah, Sander Berg is probably out the door to Burnley. Burnley will do all right. They're splashing the cash, but yeah, I think Sheffield United will definitely be rock bottom.
I think you can throw Wolves into that mix as well.
Yeah, Wolves. Like, Luton already played Wolves in the pre-season, and other than the first 30 minutes where we looked a bit nervous, like we absolutely battered them for the other 60 minutes. So I'm not scared about our approach because we have a style of playing. It's not just boot it upfield. Like, that's very wrong. We don't play a long ball. We play direct. Direct can mean we play it direct into the channels high. We play it direct to feet. We mix it up. We can play some football, and we brought in some technicians as well who can also play with the ball very nicely, like Tahith Chong. He plays beautifully with the ball at his feet. So I think we're going to surprise a few people. Like, sure, we'll get a pasting, the annual pasting from Man City. But I reckon Spurs are going to fold at the Kenny. A lot of teams are going to fold at the Kenny. I just see it.
I love to hear that. I love to hear it. All right, let's talk a little bit about your current window then. I'm not too familiar with the players that got released or loaned out or transferred out, but were there any big names that you think will be a miss for the upcoming season?
No, I don't think there are going to be no players that will be a miss. We've retained everyone that we want to retain. We've signed everyone to new contracts that we want to keep. Colton Morris got a new contract. Elijah Adebayo got a new contract. Who else? Pretty much everyone in our team got new contracts. Sonny Bradley, who was our captain for the last 4 years, he's gone. He went to Derby, but his legs are gone anyway. And from looking at Derby's first game as well, his legs do look like they're gone.
Yeah.
He's a brilliant guy. He was a brilliant captain for us, but you could tell whenever a ball came over the top, he was chasing shadows.
Yeah.
Henry Lansbury's gone. He's retired because he set up a lawn care company called Grass Gains.
Okay.
Like high end lawn care.
Okay.
Harry Eisted. We had a bit of a goalkeeper get in. Harry Eisted went, and fans were clamouring for him to stay. But at the end of the day, it's been a very strong window. We haven't lost anyone, and we just added in first team quality through the boards. So I don't know if you want me to rattle off people.
I mean, let's talk about... I might butcher some of the names, so I might let you talk about some of the names.
Okay, so we can start off with Chidozie Ogbene from Rotherham. He's a Republic of Ireland international. He was a bright spark in the Rotherham team last season. Him and Victor Johansson. Johansson was the goalkeeper. Ogbene hit like 10 goals for Rotherham, and they were like battling relegation the entire time. He likes to run with the ball. He's very direct. I think he's going to be a backup striker for us, but he can also fill in a right wing back. Mads Anderson, it looks like he's going to be a first team player for us now. He was brought in from League One Barnsley, but he is actually a top end championship player. He's big, he's Danish, he's very strong in the air, he likes scoring from corners. He could be one to watch out for, from set pieces and whatnot. But I think he's a bit slow. He's going to get done on the outside possibly because he's going to be playing on the outside of the back three. Tahith Chong. Chong is a very good shout. We've been tracking him for a long time at Luton. He's going to be on set pieces. Okay. He's a great dead ball specialist if you've seen him from his time at Man United in the academy. Okay. Top player. Marvellous Nakamba. He's going to give you your defensive points, lots of tackles, interceptions. He joined on loan last January from Aston Villa, and I said at the time he's the difference between getting the playoffs and missing out on the playoffs. But as it turned out, Marv was the difference between promotion, not promotion.
Yeah.
In the end, He's brilliant. He'll get you interceptions. He'll get you tackles. He's great for that. One that's kind of a wild card is Kabore.
Okay.
So he's on loan from Manchester City.
Okay.
He played last season for Marseille in the Champions League, and this is his first loan to an English club.
Okay.
And interestingly, the podcast I work for, we have a fair few insider sources at the club, and we were told that Man City actually approached Luton Town to take him on loan, which is a very good idea because the way we play is with wing backs.
Yeah.
And Kabore, a flying right wing back, he obviously was identified by Man City as a good fit for Luton Town because Man City, they're going to have the best analysts in the business.
Yeah.
They have the best lawyers in the business, so why not have the best analysts?
Shots fired.
So he's one that I'm looking forward to. He's a direct runner, but we'll talk about AFCON later, right?
Yeah.
He's a Burkina Faso international, so he's going to be gone.
All right.
In January. Then Ryan Giles from Wolves. He is our current record signing at $5 million.
Okay.
He is a flying left wing back, but I think he's going to be competing for time with Alfie Doughty, also a left wing back. But it's been a very strong window, and I've heard there's going to be a medical tomorrow. So we could be seeing another defensive reinforcement potentially coming in. Maybe a backup keeper. I'm not 100% sure. I'm waiting for the name on that.
Okay. And like you mentioned, Thomas Kaminsky coming in from Blackburn Rovers, right?
I forgot about Thomas Kaminsky. Yeah, well, I mentioned the backup keeper that we're going to have coming in, John Ruddy.
Yeah.
Thomas Kaminsky, yeah, he's going to be a very busy boy this year. Although, funnily enough, last season we did have the second lowest XG in the championship. Only Burnley had a lower XG. It meant that we offered a lot of protection to our goalkeeper, Ethan Horvath, who, if you have Nottingham Forest fans listening, they've seen him just flapping at balls in pre-season. Yeah, we had him last season, and everyone was like, "Oh wow, we just signed Ethan Horvath, 1.5 million. I wouldn't pay £1.50 for him. He's terrible." And he had the second highest clean sheets in the championship last season.
Okay.
But that was because our defence were incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. We kept the most clean sheets in the division.
Okay.
And oh god, he had the most errors leading to goals. From out of all the goalkeepers, he had 5 errors directly leading to goals. I think the next highest was 3.
Okay.
And people saying, "Oh yeah, sign Ethan Horvath. He can't even get." He was first choice for Luton. Couldn't even get into the USA national team as first choice.
Wow.
They picked Matt Turner instead.
Yeah. Good point. Interesting. Okay. Are there any other players that you want to talk on before we touch on the starting 11 formation?
Oh, well, what you mean, like big differentials that...
I mean, we're going to get to the picks and stuff in the next
segment.
So let's
go on to the...
All right.
Yeah, let's go on to the first 11. I've done so many of these today. did one for the BBC earlier.
Hey, nice.
I did that. Watch out. I just dropped a name.
Hey, yeah, I know. We're one step away from being on the BBC, Banter Boys Fan Trax podcast, guys. We're coming places. Okay, so the Prem is like only a few days away, right? So if it was starting tomorrow, though, what would be your starting 11 and the formation that you're expecting to roll out?
So we're probably going to stick to the same script that we had last season. That's a 3-5-2, which becomes a 5-3-2 when we're defending. So that'd be Kaminsky in goal. It's going to be pretty nailed on because we're going to be playing a lot fewer games this season and we'll probably rotate in the cups. So it'll be a back three of providing everyone's fit. We have a few defensive injuries at the moment. It'll be a back three of Amari Bell, who I understand is a big pick on FPL. I don't know why, because he has no goal scoring output. Yeah, but it just shows how little FPL players know about Luton Town. I think he's sitting at like 20% ownership at the moment on the official game.
Madness.
So Amari Bell left centre back. It'll be Tom Lockyer in the middle. He is a good pickup, Tom Lockyer. I recommend him as a sleeper. Right centre back will be Gabe Osho, but I think for our first game it's going to be Mads Anderson just because we haven't got any other defenders. Left wing back will probably be Alfie Doughty, maybe Ryan Giles. I would go for Alfie Doughty just because he knows the way we play. Right wing back will be Isaac Kabore, because again, we don't have any other right wing backs. In the middle, it's going to be Marvellous Nakamba, probably Pelly, Ruddock and Panzu. Okay. Pelly Ruddock is an incredible story. He's come with us all the way from the conference. He left West Ham as an 18-year-old, joined us on loan, joined us on a permanent, and then came up the divisions with us. Proper story, Pelly Ruddock. And then ahead of them will probably be Tahith Chong. Jordan Clark's going to be missing out because I think he broke something in the last pre-season.
Ouch. Yeah, that explains the red flag next to his name on Fantrax right now.
He got crunched, and I heard from people today that he heard the crunch, so he's going to be out for a while. And then up top, we're a bit different because we actually play with two central strikers, Elijah Adebayo and Carlton Morris. I think Carlton Morris is probably the pick of, the neutral fan for Luton Town at the moment. He's probably the highest level. Probably the highest average draft position. I'm actually going to pull that up.
Yeah, he does 111.78 at the moment.
Yeah.
And Adebayo with 248.58, which is it's very interesting. I feel like Adebayo has gone undrafted in a lot of leagues, which confuses me because if you look at your preseason form, Adebayo's popped up with attacking returns. So are people maybe sleeping on him? I don't know.
No, people don't know. People don't know about him because all they've done is they've had a look and they've seen Adebayo scored 7 goals last season.
Yeah.
Whereas, and they probably might have even seen that he wasted a lot of chances. He had an XG of 15, so he was wasting a lot of chances. And they've probably seen Carlton Morris score 21 goals. So they're like, if I have to pick one Luton player, is it going to be Elijah Adebayo or Carlton Morris? For me, all day long, I'm picking Elijah Adebayo because he will offer more in terms of
key passes and stuff, maybe.
Key passes, take-ons. He loves to run with the ball. If you look at his goal from the playoff final, he picked up the ball on the halfway line. He sent Carl McFadden left, right, sent it for a hot dog. He was trailing on the ground. And then he got an assist from that. And also a key point that a lot of people just won't know is Elijah Adebayo. He was injured last season. He came into the season injured. He was injured towards the end of the 1920 season. He was injured at the end of the 1920 season when we had a playoff run. No, was it 21-22 when we had our first finish in the playoff. Mm-hmm. He was injured. Okay. He came out at Huddersfield in the playoff semi-final. He couldn't run. He was just... I don't know why Nathan Jones put him on. His reasoning was, if a cross comes in, he's really tall, he'll probably head it in. Oh, wow. But the man couldn't run, he couldn't walk. Yeah. It was horrible to see. Yeah. And then he came into last season, 22-23, still injured. He hadn't had a good pre-season. Yeah. Whereas this season, the club media and Elijah Adebayo have come out. He said, I've been back for weeks. Yeah. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling strong.
That's good.
So I feel if Morris has gone, Elijah Adebayo is a very good pickup. He drops deeper. He gets more involved in the play. He's 6'5". He's fast. He's good in the air. He's good with his feet. He's going to be a big differential this year because we're not going to score many goals. Yeah, I can tell you that much. Yeah, like if we win games, it'll be squeaky butt 1-0s.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know where the goals might come from. Might be like a centre-back scoring them. It's going to be rare that a striker's going to score, but the point's going to come from the build-up.
Okay. Yeah, that's a very good point. So if we touch on AFCON and Asian Cup, I was going to say you guys had no one, but like you mentioned, who's it? Issa Kabore.
Issa Kabore for Burkina Faso, Marvellous Nakamba for Zimbabwe, but I think Zimbabwe is still disqualified from AFCON.
Yeah.
We have Pelly Ruddock and Panzu, who was called up by Democratic Republic of Congo. Okay. But I don't know if Congo are in AFCON either. Okay. So I don't actually watch AFCON. I don't really, the World Cup was grating me like midway through the season.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to watch AFCON.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that.
Yeah, I barely watched the World Cup because it was just like a World Cup shouldn't be in freezing.
It was very strange.
Freezing temperature.
Yeah,
It was weird.
If you heard any of our episodes from last season, I was berating the World Cup at every opportunity possible. But yeah.
I'm sure the people at FIFA made some great money though.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Anyways, let us then move into the next segment, which is the fan favorite segment, the fan track side of things. So, Ollie, tell us, who's your first pick from Luton?
My first pick from Luton will probably be. I'll probably wait until the 10th round. Try and get a couple of sleepers in there. I imagine Colton Morris will probably got before me because strikers are quite thin on the ground in a 12-man league.
Yeah.
I would probably go for Elijah Adebayo first.
Interesting.
But my wife's in the league as well. She's told me she's got her eye on Elijah Adebayo as well. So I'm actually bricking it. And then I got a mate who's told me his first round pick's gonna be a Luton player. I said, mate, you're just gonna lose.
Yeah.
There's no point. You're gonna be fuming. You're not gonna want to play if you pick up a Luton player first round. It'll probably be Elijah Adebayo.
Very interesting. Yeah, I feel like he's definitely going undrafted in several leagues. Also you're like the third manager in like a couple of weeks that has told me that he's in a league with his wife. Where are you guys meeting these women? Like
no, it was a funny story because we set up the league about 9 years ago. We used some Podunk platform, and we did that for 1 year. It was rubbish because it just used regular fantasy scoring, goals, assists. It was the year that Leicester won the league.
Oh, okay.
I had Jamie Vardy, so naturally I won. I won the league. And then we moved to Togger, if you remember Togger.
Yeah, definitely.
R.I.P.
Togger.
The second year that we did it, because my wife was like our sticker bitch on our draft, and she could see everyone was just having such a good time.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh, is it too late for me to join in?" But we're like a 10-person league.
Yeah.
It was like, it's too late.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we had a couple of dropouts, and then we involved her. And I'll tell you what, she's a fucking strong player. Like last season she was top for the entire season.
Oh wow.
She lost in the playoff final though, which was a real kick in the teeth. She finished about 9 points clear of second place.
Jeez.
And then
that's
sixth
cruel.
place,
Yeah.
the person that finished sixth won it in the end.
That's
just
cruel.
because he'd been like proper on the waiver wire, plugged into the matrix, picking everyone up.
Yeah.
But my wife had Haaland, and Haaland carried her quite a bit last year.
Yeah, I could
But it just goes to show, you have Haaland, it doesn't mean you're going to win.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're going to talk about like picks and stuff later, and even maybe you have some questions about your drafting strategies for your upcoming season. At one point,
I do. I asked you before.
Yeah.
I need advice.
We'll definitely get into that. But I mean, before we get into the next three picks, even like I remember at one point this season, when I was making my rankings and stuff, Haaland wasn't in my top three because, if I'm being honest, like yes, okay, Haaland will score goals, and listeners would have heard me talk about this. Like he's a top asset. He's definitely going to score goals, especially playing for a club like Manchester City. But in my first pick, I want ghost points. I want points when you don't do anything, right? I just want like a base of at least 10 points. And if you get anything on top of that, then I think you're golden, right? This is why
you raise a great point there, because Haaland is one of those players, like, sure, he scores every week, but if he doesn't score
1 point, 2 point.
Well, he doesn't touch the ball. He touches the ball like 4 times in a game.
13 touches in the Community Shield, right? I think something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I know that first pick in our league is going to be Haaland, naturally.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make sure that no one in my league sees this video, because you raised a great point about ghost points there. So I'm hoping, like, first pick takes Haaland. I won't mind. I won't mind.
Yeah.
But I'm sweating it because I'm second pick now.
Oh, don't worry. We'll get into it. Yeah. Okay. So who's your next three picks from Luton Town?
Oh, well, I said Elijah Adebayo would be round 10.
Yeah.
So my round 11 will be Alfie Doughty.
Okay.
My round 12 will be Tom Lockyer. My round 13 will be Izakabore if he's still available.
Okay. Interesting.
I know that sounds crazy that I'm picking 3 Luton defenders, but
I mean, listen, you guys have the
Doughty's
most clean
down
sheets,
as
like
a
you said,
midfielder.
right? So there must
Oh
be a
yeah,
reason.
but in the championship,
Yeah.
we had the most clean
Fair,
sheets.
fair.
It's a completely different ball game. Doughty will be creating a lot of chances. I'll have a look at what's there. But in all fairness, like 70% of your team changes, like as the season goes on.
Agreed.
Anyway, because people get injured, people drop out of form, people get dropped for no reason. So, I will probably still be quite heavy on Luton assets this year, just for the banter, really.
I mean, listen, you also gotta have fun playing this game, right? And what's more fun than picking the team that you've supported for 25 years? You mentioned,
yeah.
Like
I think
it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to own them in the Premier League fantasy game. Like, yeah, I would totally go for it. Like,
yeah, I want to watch them at the Kenny. I want to whack my phone out.
There you go.
And I want to see Doughty like dribble past someone and be like, yeah!
There you go. Exactly.
That's a point.
Exactly. I mean, it's crazy. That's how I watch games now as well. It's like, that's a dribble. Oh, I got 1 point. Nice. Like, yeah, you mentioned Doughty as well. I think he took the most corners for you guys last season as well.
Yeah, but it's going to be mixed now. In pre-season, Giles has been taking them. I haven't seen Tahith Chong take a set piece yet, funny enough.
Interesting.
Although I haven't been able to watch all the games like religiously because our club is so cloak and dagger about not showing stuff on media. Like they played back-to-back games. They played 2 games against Bochum in Germany.
Yeah.
Didn't televise them.
Yeah.
And and Bochum, who normally televise all their preseason friendlies, didn't televise it because Luton were like, "Oh, don't show it."
Wow.
So it's been very cloak and dagger. I wanna see what we're looking like.
Yeah.
I guess I have to wait until Brighton, but I have a good idea about how we're going to be because I don't see many of these new signings like slotting right in. Kabore is going to take over from Cody Drammer. Marvelous Nakamba slots in exactly where he was last time. Ogbene's a bench player. I'm just very excited to see, what Marvelous Nakamba. Oh, Marvelous Nakamba is one that I'm going to be picking up.
Okay.
He's everywhere in the midfield.
Yeah.
He's going to be. He'll probably be good for like 8 to 10 points a game, I reckon.
Okay. Interesting.
Just on the basis of interceptions and tackles. Like he was clearing about, I think he was averaging about 13 tackles a game last season.
Okay. Interesting. All right.
So that's 13 points right there.
It's like your midfield, let's say 4 or 5, would be the combo, right? Like your 4th midfielder, 5th midfielder in your roster, maybe.
Yeah, I would 100% pick up Marvelous Nakamba.
Okay.
But sort of defensive points are right across our front line as well.
Okay.
Because we also top the tables in final third recoveries.
Mm.
So that's like high presses. Morris and Elijah Adebayo press like maniacs. They will get their interception points. They'll get their tackles. So, there's lots of underrated gold in the Luton Town team.
Okay. Nice. I love it. I'm definitely taking notes of this. What about your one hidden gem? What have you got up your sleeve?
Oof. Hidden gem does it have to be Luton?
Yeah, I would say Luton. Like, I mean, we've definitely talked about a few assets. Like, you've listed more than I think I expected. I'll be honest. Because you listed Adebayo as your first, Doughty, Lockyer, and Kabore as your next 3. So, would you put
I put Nakamba as like
Nakamba as the hidden gem?
Yeah. Nakamba with all the interceptions and tackles, he goes under the radar.
Okay.
He will. But he'll be like sort of, I'm trying to think of a comparative player that he's like our N'Golo Kante.
Love it.
But N'Golo Kante from a couple of years ago, not N'Golo Kante that is playing as a number 10.
Yeah. Under, who was it? I think Maurizio Sarri. Yeah. I got that.
Yeah, where he played him as a 10.
Yeah.
That's so strange.
It's very weird. Okay, lovely. So now let's go into the final segment where we pick your brain, Ollie. How long have you been playing Fantrax? For eons, I think.
Fantrax, this is our 6th season of Fantrax. Before that, we were Togger, and before that, we would Draft FPL, some rubbish platform.
So you're a vet. You're a veteran.
Yeah,
You've got your stripes. You've got the stars.
I've got the shields. I told you before offline. I've got to get it engraved and send it to last season's winner.
Yeah.
But my name's on it twice.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's it's a very intensive league. We take it very seriously, and our draft is on Thursday.
Do you draft in person or online?
So we're gonna have me and my wife are gonna draft here. We've got a friend coming over for it, but we're dotted all over the world. So we got a couple of boys in Canada.
Yeah. Okay.
I think they're gonna meet up and draft. We got a couple of guys up in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Because I lived in Edinburgh when I set up the league.
Okay.
So we got a couple of guys in Edinburgh still. Got a couple of guys in London. I'm in London, but like they're South London. I'm North London.
Yeah.
So we're not meeting up for it. Plus, we've all got kids.
Yeah. That proves a challenge for sure.
Yeah. So we're just gonna have a nice draft night, 8 p.m. Minute 30 per pick.
Yeah. Make sure and have a beverage. Calm the nerves.
Oh yeah. Of course. I'll be drinking. We got every year for the draft. We get pizza in.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
Oh, that sounds like a lovely time. So, I mean, during all of your I guess based on all of your seasons so far, do you have any experience with trading draft picks before your season's even kicked off?
No, I've offered.
Oh wow! Okay.
Our league, I've offered that before. Because the reason why I started wanting to do Fantrax and draft fantasy was because I watched a TV show called The League.
Yeah.
Sort of got me into that thing, that sort of, and they do a lot of that.
Yeah.
They do a lot of I'll trade you your pick in the draft for this, but no, trades are quite rare in our league.
Yeah.
I love trading. There's another boy called Rico.
Yeah.
He loves trading as well. I had an absolute mare last season though, because at one point, I was trading. At one point, I had Bruno Fernandes and Kevin De Bruyne in my team. I traded them both away.
What?
I know. I had a mare, absolute mare. I finished second bottom.
Oh my god! What did you trade them out for?
Oh, okay. So, Bruno Fernandes, I'm having sort of
PTSD
talking about this. So Kevin De Bruyne, I think I traded for Ollie Watkins and another good player who turned out to be absolute gash. I can't remember because it was the beginning of last season. I can probably pull it up and look at the records. It's going to be too traumatic for me. It was two good players, and Ollie Watkins as well.
Yeah.
I was like, he's going to have a great season.
Yeah.
Ollie Watkins is going to have a great season. And you know what? I was right.
Yeah, you were.
But he only turned it on from February. He was banging in the goals from February onwards. So I was right, but I was already rock bottom of the league, and it didn't matter how many games I won. Yeah. And then Bruno Fernandes, I think I traded for Wilfried Zaha, and again, I was like, give me a 2-for-1. Yeah. So I want two good players, two premiums. I'll give you Bruno Fernandes. I had Wilfried Zaha, and Zaha was just plagued with injury.
Yeah.
And he was just plotting his way out, and he left.
Yeah.
So I had a bad season last year. Really bad one.
Well, I mean, that's why you're here, right? We're going to try and help you make sure you dominate your league next season.
Well, I've already said I'm not doing any trades. I've told everyone, you come here, you try and trade rate me. But fuck you. I'm not having any of this. Take your trades, shove them up your ass. I don't care.
I love it. All right. Does your league play with Fab by any chance?
What's Fab?
So Fab is basically another layer to FA/waiver claims where you introduce a budget where you get to introduce money bids on players. So you're given like, let's say $100 and you bid in increments of $1.50 depending on how your league wants to structure it.
I'll stop you right there.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear any more about that. I'm not even going to introduce that as commissioner of my league. I'm not even going to try and introduce that to my league because they have enough trouble, like remembering when waiver days are. Like if I introduce a whole other layer,
they might quit.
Brains will
explode.
Might quit. Yeah. Like last year, we had a guy drop out because I explained the rules. It's my cousin. He's been doing it since the first season with us. Every season, I explain the rules in a WhatsApp chat.
Yeah.
The rules of this is the waiver wire order. This is going to run until the transfer window. Okay, and then we freeze frame that, and then that waiver wire order will resume in the January transfer window. And then outside the transfer windows, it's whoever's at the bottom gets priority, and it goes up like that.
Yeah.
So I explained that. My cousin left the WhatsApp group because he was like, "Oh, too many messages. I can't be bothered with this." And then he kept asking me about how things were going. And then he asked me, "Oh, do you think Cody Gakpo is a good pickup?" I was like, "I don't know, mate. I was busy with like a new baby."
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, mate. Whatever." He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get Gakpo." So he set the waiver for him. He was like, "You're a cheat! Why didn't I get Gakpo? I was top of the waiver wire." I was like, I was really confused.
Yeah.
Anyway, he rage quit the league.
Oh my God.
Let his team die. But then he picked it up again.
Yeah.
And I said to him, "Mate, like, if you want to be in the league this year, you gotta
behave.
you gotta behave. You gotta read the rules. You gotta be back in the WhatsApp chat."
Yeah.
He said, nah, forget about it." So I've replaced him with someone else that used to play in the league.
Yeah, fair enough.
So he's pro'd up. He knows what it's about. But you know, like if I went and introduced Fab to them, no, because they can barely get their heads around waivers. No,
Fair enough. All right. So before we get into some of your lessons learned over the past few seasons and advice that you'd share, or maybe stuff that you'd implement for your next season that might make your season successful, why don't we dip into a bit of Fantrax chat like you wanted to, right? You talked about being second pick in your draft league. So who are you considering right now as some of the picks you're gonna go for?
So I was considering Harry Kane.
You really want that gamble?
But Exactly. So I was chatting with my wife last night, and we came to the agreement that I'd pick up Mo Salah.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
definitely. Yeah. I think Mo Salah is definitely a fantastic pick. We know he has the pedigree. He's proven. My only concern is, before in the past, he's not done well in the ghost points. He very much scored like Haaland, but I think Liverpool have changed a lot over the past few seasons. And what I'm seeing in preseason games, he is having a more creative influence on the team. So he's starting to generate more key passes. I mean, obviously he's going to pop up with a goal here and there. He's on penalties. I think it's definitely a fantastic pick. But for me personally, I think if you have a first pick or second pick, and if this name falls to you, Bruno Fernandes all day long for me.
So he was my pick last season when I was 10th pick last season, 10th or 11th pick last season. And I did pick Bruno Fernandes before trading him away. He's a good one. I don't like him because he's a diving little shitbag, isn't he?
Oh, like, you just gained so many followers by saying that, by the way.
He dives. I don't like him. He's a little rat-faced twat, isn't he?
Yeah.
And his penalties are so annoying. Just run up and hit it, mate.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Mo Salah also has AFCON, if that changes anything. I mean, it's not going to last that long, maybe a few game weeks, but if you can ride it out without him, then listen, I'm not going to argue against a Salah pick. I would take Salah and Bruno over Haaland. That's the way I stand, yeah.
Yeah, but you raise a good point about Bruno, because I noticed he was actually above Salah in the average draft position. So it's a decent pick.
It's not even the average draft position, right? If you play with default scoring, you're rewarded mostly for key passes. Like, key passes have such a heavy weight in the scoring system. And you look over the past few seasons, I'm sure if you accumulate the number of key passes, Bruno Fernandes is definitely going to be up there. Last season, he had a terrible season. United were shit. They had all this drama with Cristiano Ronaldo, and he still ended up, I think, getting maybe top 3 players for key passes. Like, he's not even on all the set pieces, not on all the corners. From open play, he just creates chances. He is a machine, an absolute machine.
Yeah, but do you think he's going to be sort of guaranteed a starting position?
I think so. He's the captain, isn't he?
Oh, is he captain now?
I believe he's captain.
Oh,
I can confirm it right now.
Terrible decision. Yeah, that's a terrible decision.
Well, it's a good thing you're not a United fan, you know?
Now, to be honest, I'm looking forward to like him coming to the Kenny and getting absolutely snapped in half by Tom Lockyer.
Yeah, it's Bruno Fernandes, captain. Yeah.
That's nuts.
So I don't know if that influences your decision, right?
It kind of does. Oh, you've opened up a can of worms for me now. Oh no!
I mean, that's why we love fan tracks more than anything, right? Is that there's so many endless possibilities of how to build your roster, how to build a team. I just think it's a way more exciting way to play the game, honestly, right?
Oh yeah, I've already given up on my regular FPL team.
Yeah.
Like I picked it just for the novelty of like putting 3 Luton Town players in there.
Yeah.
I would have put more if they let me. And I've already given up on it. I haven't opened the app since.
There you go. So last season, Bruno Fernandes, 119 key passes. He was first on the list. If we look at the 21-22 season, he had 89 key passes. That was second, only behind Trent, who got 90. Let's look one more season before that. Bruno Fernandes was first, 95 key passes. He's going to get you key passes, right? He's a safe pick.
Yeah, he's going to take penalties as well.
He's going to take penalties. In my opinion, he's a safe pick. But again, if you take Salah,
I'm
not going to fight you.
No. I think you've converted me. But what do you think about Kevin De Bruyne in that instance? Because he's a tricky one because he suffers from a bit of the pep roulette.
Yeah, it's not just pep roulette. How old is Kevin De Bruyne now? Maybe 32? 31, 32, something along those lines. See, that's what worries me is his age. He has a history of picking up injuries. I don't remember Bruno picking up any injuries. He just runs all the time. He plays all the time. I think he starts every game almost. So you don't have to worry about that roulette as much. And listen, on his day, Kevin De Bruyne is a 1-1 overall. Like, he can easily win you a match single-handedly. But again, it's the safety, it's the reliance. It's like you get Bruno, you don't have to worry about anything. And I think even if you are unsure and you don't like the pick, let's say first few game weeks Bruno smashes it, trade him out on a high, right? I mean, I know based on your track record, you obviously don't like doing trading, but listen, you're more than welcome to reach out to us. There's the Draft Society in the community. There's other content creators like Overthinking Football, PL on Tap. You'll easily get opinions. And even if you want to put it to a poll, there's fantastic accounts like Draft Answers as well. Our community on Twitter is fantastic. It's a great place to start a conversation, to get a second opinion. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you have to click that draft button, right? And then the responsibility lands on you. But
yeah, like I can get countless opinions. Yeah. I can speak to the people on Reddit. I can speak to people on Twitter. I can speak to my wife about it. But at the end of the day, I'll offer Bruno Fernandes around and be like, oh yeah, all I can offer you is I think this is a fair trade. Would you like I don't know. Would you like Varane? Here you go. I'll give you Varane for Fernandes.
No, that would never happen.
I think that seems fair. yeah, but those are the type of trades. Like you offer something that you know is really fair, like a premium player for a premium
so
player.
I think a fair trade maybe this season would be like Bruno Fernandes for, well, you don't have Fab, so maybe Bruno Fernandes for Maddison and Varane.
Yeah, so now I'm thinking about like second round picks. I was hoping, because of the snake draft system, I'm going to be
way on the end.
Yeah, so I was hoping to pick up Maddison.
No, well, if your league is on point, I don't think you get Maddison.
No, I don't get Madison because the league is very much
And given
very
the slim
competitive.
pickings for forwards this season, if you go Bruno, let's say first, then you're probably gonna get, let's say, one of the Liverpool forwards, or even if you want to take a punt, new boy Nico Jackson at Chelsea. Now, especially in Kunku's
Yeah.
injury, he's gonna be out for a few months, and Kunku might be a safe nailed pick up front. He's looked fantastic in preseason as well.
No, but so is Jackson.
Yeah. Jackson's
Yeah,
looked
he's
fantastic,
looked
right?
good.
Who else? Yeah, you might get like a Gakpo, a Nunez. I mean, there's a bit of rotation headache there, so that
Hmm.
might put you off.
I'm thinking Ollie Watkins.
Yeah,
'Cause
Ollie
he's
Watkins,
going to be
Alexander
firing
Isak
under
as
Emery.
well.
Yeah.
So
Well, Isak, there's the rotation
and
again with
Europe
Callum Wilson
as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, if you
Yeah.
want to go, so that's why I guess if you want to go Salah up front, yes, you'll have a nail safe forward pick, and then midfielders that might fall to you around that point. I'm just wondering, maybe like if McNeil wasn't injured, you go McNeil. Maybe a Jared Bowen, you might get around that point. Pascal Gross as well, who gets a lot of key passes. But my worry about him is he's playing out of position. He's getting deployed in right back. Who else would you get around that time? I'm just thinking midfielders.
See, Thomas Suchek was like a really early pick last season.
I think you can wait on him.
He was. Yeah, I know. I think he was like third or fourth round.
Yeah.
And he ended up being absolute garbage. But to be honest, West Ham last season were just garbage.
You could get a Morgan Gibbs-White as well. You could go Salah, Morgan Gibbs-White as your first two picks, possibly.
He's. I wouldn't go Morgan Gibbs-White.
Okay.
Second round.
Really? Interesting.
No,
What about maybe a
no.
Kulusevski or a Dominic
Yeah,
Szoboszlai?
Slobosly.
But yeah, you've definitely got options on that turn, right? So
Yeah, I just don't know about Spurs assets, to be honest. Like, Kulusevski's a very good pick. He was, like, pulling 20 point game weeks, like, out of the bag, pretty much consistently every single week. He was a great pickup. My mate Ross got him, and he was laughing. But with Spurs, the uncertainty about Ange, and then we don't know about what's going to happen with Kane. Like, Spurs could very well be a dumpster fire this year.
Yeah.
They could finish 10th.
Or what about this? What if you went Bruno and you ended up with Mbeumo as your forward? Mbeumo on penalties, no Ivan Toney for the first half of the season. Key passes on set pieces, corners, some free kicks.
Yeah, so that's why I was thinking of picking up Salah first, because I want that premium forward.
Yeah.
But as you say, it's a toss up. Like, but the thing is, I am thinking that Bruno is a good pickup because you raise great points there. But I do want that forward because forwards are very thin on the ground. Like, I've written out like a whole Excel spreadsheet of like essentially 180 picks that are going to be in my league total. So I've written out 160 players.
Yeah.
And I've gone to town on it because me and my wife are both going to be drafting off that Excel sheet.
Yeah. Family dominated league. I love it. Listen, I think you have options, right? And if it comes draft day as well, and you're confused, you're stuck a little bit, and you know your turn is coming, message me.
Oh, there's going to be no time to message you, man. It's like a minute 30, and that minute 30 feels about like 10 seconds.
Yeah, it does.
It's like, you know, it comes to your turn, you're like, oh, I got loads of time. I'm just going to flip through this list. I'm going to look at some stuff. It's like, oh my God, how is that only 5 seconds to go?
I mean, listen, this is probably not a strategy that might annoy a lot of people hearing this, but I don't care. I'm drafting my team. I'm not drafting for other people's team, in the sense that let's say you're on the turn of a draft, right? And you've got the double pick back to back. Have in the back of your mind a safe pick. This is a pick that I know I will take for sure. And just keep that in the back of your head. Also use the queue on the Fantrax system, right? So if you run out of time, there's a setting that you can auto draft from queue.
Yeah, that's been a lifesaver.
Yeah, load that pick and just run the clock down. Wait until the last 5 seconds. You know you're going to pick that person. So use both times as an opportunity to think about what your next pick is going to be, right? Because let's say you're 1 spot away from the turn, right? Or 2 spots. Somebody else is going to pick your backup option. At least you're going to have the time to think of, you know, a few extra backup options in that sense. So, yeah. I mean, that's a couple strategies to think of.
So, my wife is 11th pick.
Okay.
Any ideas? Because she's got her heart set on Kieran Trippier.
Yeah, I like that. I was 12th pick in my draft last night, and I went back-to-back Eze and Trippier.
Yeah. See, those are good picks. Yeah. But
I think if Maddison...
Eze could have a good season.
I think if Maddison or Eze falls to her at that point, I would go with those over Trippier. My only concern with Trippier is that he has European football. He's old. They're going to rotate. He's probably going to be a safe pick for the first few weeks, but I'm not guaranteed that he's going to play the rest of the season. That's my concern. Mm. So it might be one of those trade high sort of situations if your wife's comfortable with trading.
No, my wife doesn't really like trading either.
I'd go Eze then.
Yeah.
He's on penalties. He's the heart of the team. Zaha's left, right? Olise's injured.
Yeah, exactly.
He's playing so well in preseason. If you've gotten any glimpses of clips and stuff that have been floating around Twitter, he's having a great time under Roy, right? So... Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping my team, my league are not so on it then. Maybe I'll be able to pick up Eze like a 23rd pick.
We're gonna get updates from you during the season. If you're open to coming back on, we'd love to have you back on.
Of course. I'll be properly on it.
Excellent. So before we round things off, let us get your final pieces of advice, lessons learned over the previous seasons that you'd like to share with the community, both new and old managers.
Rule 1, don't trade. It'll bite you on the arse. It really will. I don't really know if is it like a dirty word to talk about auto subs? Or do you play auto subs?
I used to when I first started the game. Yeah. I think it's easier for especially people that aren't as, I guess, insane about the game to keep their commitment throughout a season. It's easier to kind of maintain that with auto subs. So I get it. I totally understand the use of it.
Oh no. We're fully committed. We use it.
Okay.
We use it to try and win.
Interesting. Okay. So I've used it as like a safety net. Okay, interesting.
We use it as a tactic. We pick up a dead player.
Interesting.
Pick up a dead player and we literally will stick them in, and then we'll load our bench with other options. It'll be whoever gets the highest points. And I started doing that to sort of gain an advantage.
Yeah.
And then other people
they realized what you were on.
They figured it out. Yeah.
I mean, it's not a popular point of discussion because a lot of people in our community play in the community leagues and public leagues, and I think they see it as a more competitive way to play without auto subs because you don't have that safety net of something picking your best player. You're forced to pick your best 11, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I've tried that, and then I ended up getting screwed over by my own pick. So
maybe not play auto subs is what Ollie's saying.
Yeah, so my advice is play auto subs because it will help you out a lot. It'll get you out of jam.
Yeah. Interesting. Anything else?
I don't know. I'm just full of bad advice. Just have a good time.
Yeah.
Don't get too attached to your team. Because 100%. Your team's going to change.
Yeah.
It's organic that, up to 70% of your team will change.
Yeah.
Keep your core players. You've got to try and keep your 1 to 4 picks because those are the ones that will ride you home. They take you down the home straight all the way to victory.
Yeah.
But don't get too attached to your team. I tell my wife that as well because she gets a bit too attached to her team.
Yeah.
Got to be open to, change it up.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Love that. Okay, listeners, those are the picks. That is the pod. That's everything we had planned. Ollie, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you, chatting everything Luton, chatting everything Fantrax. You seem like an absolute legend, and I cannot wait to have you back on the pod later on in the season and update the community on how your crazy season might have panned out, right? Yeah. Listeners, stay tuned. We're almost at the end. I know it's been a marathon, but we're getting there. We're trying to do our best to fill out all the rep spots as soon as possible. Cross your fingers. If you know anyone that's a Bournemouth fan or a Burnley fan, please hit us up. We would love to interview them, even if they don't play Fantrax at this point. I just want to get to know about their clubs, and I'm sure we can just figure it out together, right? But yeah, thanks again for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next episode. Peace.